Wizards. Now, a few months ago, I got to show you this guy with the Bul Ultralight and talk about some of the history of where this guy came from. And at the time of that review, I really thought I was gonna see yet another short barrel, compact grip, just overall snappy pistol. But man, that was not the case. The Ultralight has such fantastic balance that it gave me that compact carry size, but full-size pistol performance. And I was kind of shocked in that entire review just how well the Ultralight kept up, like almost matched the EDC in terms of performance, which baffled me the whole time. Now though, there is another Pro version of the Ultralight that just got released. And I'll tell you what, this thing is a bit of a skill multiplier and a little bit of a cheat also when it comes to skill. And I think that's definitely what you're looking for in a defensive pistol. But I want to shoot them side by side. Where's the Ultralight? I wanted to shoot them side by side and head to head to see just how much of a skill multiplier do you get with the ports. So today we'll compare the Bul Armory Pro and the Ultralight to see what differences there are in the pistols themselves, but more importantly, what performance differences you can expect.
That's a tad bit intense.
If you missed that original Ultralight video, I'll link to it up here. In that video, we went over all the details, all the different pieces, testing everything, and kind of the history about where it came from. I'll be referencing that one a lot, so it's there if you want to check it out. Now, getting started, let's talk about the overarching question. What is the Bul Ultralight and Ultralight Pro? The Ultralights are Bul's flagship pistols that lead the charge in terms of design and features for the entire Bul lineup. Now, both Ultralights use a compact grip and a 3 1/4 barrel to make concealed carry easy, even with a 2011. And there are some slight updates, but the main difference between the Pro is that it uses the V6 porting along the top to help control recoil. One thing I talked about in the Ultralight video is when we started to ramp up the speed, it became a little bit more difficult to run that thing extremely fast. So I think that's gonna be one of the main advantages we're gonna see to the ports here. Now, whenever we talk about ports, we always hear some crazy things, like all kinds of myths, like, oh, the ports are gonna just kill your velocity. I'm gonna tell you right now, your velocity is gonna go down. Okay, yeah, at max, 3 to 5%. That means, let's put it in normal human being perspective. That means like at max, 40 FPS. I also did see some reviews, like those reviewers came up with the same number as me, as about 40 feet per second. But they made it seem like that 40 feet per second was some sort of big deal, which makes no sense when most defensive encounters happen like within this distance of about 3 feet. Nobody's like hopping out being like, aha, you had 30 feet per second too little and I was completely unhurt. That doesn't make any sense. I'll show you all the testing though, so you can plug it into Excel and make Dungeons and Dragons scenarios all about it if you want. But outside of just trying to min-max all the data bits and looking at it from a calculation standpoint, I want you to look at the drills side by side so then you can make a more realistic comparison as to which one will be better for you. I know I'm gonna use those drills for me to decide which one I wanna carry this year. So I'll show you all that, but first, we gotta do some sponsor love. Today's video is sponsored in part by Javlin Concepts. Javlin engineers the future of how gear is designed, from the insane comfort of the Ajax 2.0 to the innovative features of their silent placard system. Their cutting-edge equipment gives users the edge all the way from home defense to the field operative to blend function and comfort in a next-gen way. Javlin Concepts is just taking gear design up a level. Javlin also stands by their carriers to give a comfort guarantee where they'll give you $100 back if it's not the most comfortable carrier you've ever worn. So if you want to take them up on their challenge, make sure to use discount code TLDco over on the Javlin Concepts website. Much love to Javlin for all the support they give us here on the channel and for just being great people and for helping cover all of our ammo costs. Now though, we gotta talk about a couple of my potential biases. I say this a ton, but I love the folks over at Bul, along with the value they bring you for each pistol. And both of these Ultralights were provided to me from Bul for review and comparison for all of you. They are great guns, and the guns are probably overshadowed by just how great of people that they are over there at Bul. So I am insanely biased, but it's thanks to our Patreon supporters that we can do and say whatever we want. Like, we could take these out and test them and say, hey, we hate them both. We just don't have some brand manager somewhere that we have to answer to. So if you like our more unfiltered style, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter so we can remain completely crowdfunded. With that though, there is one more big one. Do not take anything that I say or any other YouTuber says as gospel. We're all biased in some way, even subconsciously. If someone is saying they're not biased, they're probably selling you something. Remember that. Do your own research so you can be the most educated consumer possible. All right, enough of that. I haven't even gotten to shoot the Pro yet, so let's go out to the range and do some initial first shots and just see what my first impressions are before we put them on the table and look at them side by side.
Feels good. It feels like a much larger gun than it actually is, so let's see how the Pro does. Obviously from the ports too, there's a ton more dirt and debris coming up, so make sure to wear safety glasses. But I can tell you, it was just a little bit easier to stay on target with it for sure.
You know, just getting to shoot them both, this really may come down to shooter preference. But the Pro, it seemed less immediate, but also just ready to run. Like, as soon as I pulled the trigger, it was lined up and set for that next shot. And that is just confidence inspiring. And those ports are absolutely pushing me right back on target. It was impressive right at the get-go. I may be the odd one out. I don't think I am though. I mean, and we're not talking about retention, like ports can add some to that, but I really think having confidence in your pistol and having your pistol be on target all the time are some of the biggest things you could possibly want in any sort of defensive situation. But we'll see when we test them all and drill everything. First though, let's put them on the table, see them side by side. Now, most of this is the same in both pistols, and I went far more in depth in the full ultralight video. But like I said, both pistols use the same slide with the updated serration design from 2024 to give you an easy way to grab and manipulate the slide. The serrations are also the same on the front and the rear. Now, Bul pistols, like a con that does come up a lot, is getting to actually hold on to one and manipulate for yourself is probably one of the hardest things to do. And maybe it would be really cool if we could do like a viewer get together where you could come and feel these pistols for yourself. Maybe I can think of something smart to do. And I definitely want you to test the serrations because they're really, really nice. And you can tell time was taken to get these perfect from a slide manipulation standpoint and also for just making the pistol look overall badass. Now, the slide is also cut along the top for both pistols, but here on the Pro, we have the V6 porting we mentioned. This is different from the V8 on the Tac Pro, obviously, as it gives 3 ports on each side, that's 6 total, that helps return the pistol to zero much faster. We'll also talk about this in the shooting. Another thing you can tell a lot of time was spent on was getting those port holes just perfect so that returns to zero. And you're gonna see for yourself on that one. Now, the rest of the slide is the same on both pistols, but moving to optics, the EDC version uses a fiber optic and the Pro uses a blacked out front sight as the front ports would probably just burn up a fiber optic sight. Me, you guys are gonna hate me, but I don't care. I don't care at all if irons are included. I don't use irons and I'm old. Thankfully, both pistols use the BAO Mini optic system for when you want to join the rest of society. I mentioned this before, but it's basically the invert of the standard BAO and takes the shearing forces off the screw by using a center lug. Both pistols do come with an adjustable iron sight that we can throw in a box somewhere, along with an RMSC 407K style plate. I installed the Holosun SCS on the Pro with the green reticle and the Holosun EPS carry on the standard ultralight with the regular red reticle. Having spent more time with this optic and with my Blaze that's using green also, I am really starting to prefer the green reticle, particularly when paired with some ballistic glasses like the Oakley Hannibals with those prism lenses. It is absolutely fantastic. But the green does have a little bit less battery life than the red due to like the nerdy wavelengths and all that stuff to go from green to red. It's nerd stuff, we don't care. One difference we do now see is that the slide release and safety have been upgraded in 2025 to Billet to give you increased strength and life of these parts. Now mine are different because my Ultralight was from last year and now they've updated them in 2025. Now, there's a pretty solid question. Do I love billet controls? No, I don't really. I kind of prefer the old ones. I think these are just MIM parts, but they're super comfortable. The billet design, it just makes long range days a little bit less enjoyable. But if Bul didn't change it from MIM to billet, there would be like a billion guys on Reddit just crying about it. I mean, I don't think those people on Reddit shoot the pistols that they own, but hey, now we all have billet. Now I'm being a little bit sassy. Both safety styles are tactile and nice. The billet is just less forgiving the longer your training session. Now we see the same Bob Beavertail, CCW hammer, and blacked out rear safety. Triggers are also both completely ridiculous if you're wondering. They both have a short take-up, clean break, and reset. I think they're both right around, 2.5 to 3 pounds. Now, I do think 2.5 to 3 pounds is a little bit light for a concealed carry pistol, and that does mean you're gonna have to do a good bit more training with it so that you can manipulate the slide safeties and you're not just grabbing your pistol and just slamming down on the safety and having everything pointing in an unsafe direction. So yeah, you have to actually train with this so that you can come up on target when you want to shoot and then take your safety off when it's clear to fire. Not just, don't have taking the safety off as part of your draw. I'm giving you guys all this sass, and if I look at the range footage, I'm probably just slamming the safety down immediately. It's gonna be great. We can all just go train more. Now, speaking of grip, they both have the same grip style that I've grown to love that just plants in your hand so damn well. Now, both pistols come with a Magwell, but it's not installed when you first get it. Now, we all have different body types, and for me, when I go to concealed carry in appendix, one of the hardest things to keep from printing is the Magwell. So this is something I would probably keep off the firearm, and I've also noticed that the way it's designed and the way my hand's held, it does kind of jam my pinky a little bit, but it does help to kind of lock your hand in position. It's just for me trying to carry, I think I can sacrifice a little bit of that rapid reload speed for carryability. Bul did do a good job on the Magwell though, so I do recommend you at least try it and see if you prefer it or not for yourself. The rear of the Ultralight Magwell does have a unique design to all the other Magwells in the lineup to help a bit with printing on the back also. But I think that's it. I mean, yeah, they both have lights on the front pick rail because shooting things you can't see probably won't make a jury very happy. But even with these small differences, they're pretty much identical. They also both come with the same bag and the same 3 additional magazines, giving the competition the middle finger when it comes to extra mags, which is pretty awesome. So if you're on the fence at this point as to whether or not you want the Pro model or not, assuming they're both 2025 models, the only difference are the ports. So from carrying to controls to weapon manipulation, it's all gonna be exactly the same. So we can focus primarily on performance to see which one would fit better for you. My plan then, like we mentioned at the beginning, is to do some drills and see the performance gains that we get from doing some different drills and where we get the most benefit from the ports. Like I think you know where it's gonna come from. Now, the first one I wanna do, as we mentioned, is to dispel the myth about velocity and actually go test it for ourselves and find out if these ports make the bullets so slow they're gonna get you killed on the streets. I think that's kind of stupid. But the best way to make people look dumb is with data. So first up is our Ultralight Pro.
1088. 1062. 1092. 1078. 1075.
And next we have up our standard Ultralight.
1103. 1097. 1103. 1093. 1075.
So from our testing, the 5-shot average with the Pro was 1079 and the standard Ultralight was 1104. for a whopping 25 foot-per-second difference. Now, for my math whizzes out there, that's like less than 3%. So outside of maybe Reddit, that means absolutely nothing. So let's all collectively go over to our shelf of things that don't matter and go ahead and dust off an area to place this ports and velocity argument so we can never ever talk about it again. Instead, let's go do another drill and let's do draw to fire and see how these two pistols compare if we're just doing one shot at a time. Here, the Ultralight behaved as I remembered. It's quick and nimble, but balanced, giving me the performance of a pistol twice its size. It is still fantastic. Now, swapping to the Pro model, we have the same dagger in the air, but there's an interesting twist as the Ultralight Pro is already ready for that follow-up shot, just snapping immediately back on target. And here I already start seeing where the Pro starts to give you a bit of a skill jump, as when you're shooting, the Pro is already right there on target, whereas with the Ultralight, there is a little bit more skill, grip, and technique that's coming into play of me bringing that pistol right back down on center. But I'm sure in whatever made-up hero scenario you thought up, you're not just doing single perfect shots. So let's crank it up and do some doubles. So we'll draw, shoot 2, swap targets 2. So 2 and 2, double, double, toil and trouble. Good grief. Okay, starting with the Ultralight again, this felt clean and easy for a pistol of its size. I could run it quickly and fast, and I'm still blown away by it. Even without the ports, I felt like it was flat and fast.
I miscounted my bullet.
Now, I swapped over to the Ultralight Pro, and even on the first round, I was startled as the dot was actually back on target faster than I even realized. So I cranked the speed on the second round, and this is where the Pro is just insane, to give almost competition level accuracy and speed when your life is on the line. I really felt like I could crank up a lot more speed as the drills went on, and I think that's because I was getting a lot more confidence, kind of like I was getting with the Blaze, where I know the ports are doing some of that work for me, and even if I crank up the speed as fast as it'll go, the reticle is still gonna be there. All right, but the Witch's Brew test was good. It was a little bit unfair as to just how much help the ports really gave it. So let's do a little bit more of a unique test. Let's simulate a bit of a defensive scenario where you have one injured hand, so you can only shoot. Let's just do strong hand only. And this is a fairly common shooting technique in competition, so I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna do, so let's test it. Shooting strong hand, the Ultralight felt good. It's still balanced and clean, and one-handed shots were, yeah, a little bit slower, but still very, very accurate. The Pro, even one-handed, the ports are doing some crazy stuff to just keep you on target all the time. Now, I'm gonna say, I did not expect that much of a difference just shooting one-handed. And again, I think it's confidence inspiring to know that even if you're injured or can only shoot one-handed, you can still make very accurate and fast shots on target, which I think is gonna surprise a lot of bad guys. All right, but now I just wanna have some fun, and I think I know what's gonna happen. So let's just crank up the round count and do some bill drills. Now, I keep fumbling that little pistol in my big Safariland holster, but the Ultralight is fast for its size. But as I noted in the first review, it was a bit tricky to get this pistol running at speed. Swapping guns, oh, the Pro just shines. Cleaning up the ability to make faster shots while keeping them all exactly where I'm aiming. I am no build drill expert, which makes the results of this test so valuable. Like seeing the difference between the Ultralight and the Ultralight Pro, you can see how the Pro would just be a skill multiplier for a novice level user, or for anybody else when stress just goes to the absolute max, but you still have to stay on target. Let's do one more though, just be a little bit ridiculous. We'll do double bill drills. Those are called bend over bills. I don't know, I just made that up. Now, the Ultralight at speed can definitely stand on its own, even without me being able to count properly.
I can't count.
Using the Pro, it's just a significant step up in terms of speed and control, and it's actually easier the faster I go. So that's all of our tests though, and really, I think we've said the same thing in 4 or 5 different tests now. And I really think the Pro version is the new carry for me for 2025, just with all the advantages this thing gives you. I mean, with this, I get all the features of the Ultralight without giving up anything. I mean, maybe I gotta be more careful in retention, but I also have these ports to help assist me, work as a skill multiplier, and I know the reticle is just gonna be on target every time, no matter how fast I'm pulling the trigger. And in reality, the Ultralight Pro gave me a pretty massive and unexpected skill boost, making difficult shooting just plain easier. Most people don't train nearly enough. So when it comes to a defensive situation, you're gonna want as many aids as you can get, and that's definitely what the Pro model gives you. I like it because I'm confident in the Ultralight Pro that as my stress and my speed go up, it's gonna use those ports to aid me in what I'm doing, and that is just so critical in a defensive pistol. Now, that's my thought, and obviously I get to pick what I wanna carry, but I'm curious what you guys think from seeing the performance to which one you would go with, or if there's a different option. Now, one interesting question that Bul has actually kind of already answered is, what happens when you put the Ultralight subcompact grip with the full-size EDC frame? And I'm actually very curious to find out from when Bul teased that exact setup at SHOT Show earlier this year. So stay tuned and we'll see how that performs later on. Me just kind of preliminarily thinking through it, I do think the Ultralight and the EDC perform very similarly. So I think I am gonna like the Ultralight Pro a little bit better, but we'll test it and we'll see for ourselves. I just don't really wanna give up the plus 20 skill levels that the Pro gives me. But I hope this video comparing the Bul Ultralight Pro and the Ultralight was useful in your purchasing decisions. I wanna say thanks to all of our Patreon supporters and YouTube members. You guys make it possible we can test these pistols, go out to the range, run some drills, come back and tell you which one may be worth your money or if there's something on the market that you may prefer instead. I also wanna say thanks to all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Nope, messed it up. And I also wanna say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. See, I was saying how much better I was on the last video. Let me know down below what your favorite concealed carry pistol is. I wanna put it up against the Ultralight Pro and see how they compare. All right, everyone take care, Walsh out.
All right, so it is definitely. All right, so it is definitely.
Okay, so yeah, I love the Ultralight Pro, but there is one more super goofy argument that keeps coming up in some of these videos with the ports. People are like, oh, it's loud. Bro, what are you talking about? You're talking like it's pistol, like it's not girly pistol quiet, it's rifle loud. I don't, people are gonna get mad. Stop wearing Axle Ear Pro and get actual quality hearing protection, and that argument no longer applies. That one is a little bit ridiculous. But I really did love the Ultralight Pro. Testing them side by side, I really didn't think there was gonna be such a stark difference and such an immediate of like, oh, I want that one. The Pro really just outshined in pretty much everything, even the one-handed. That was the craziest, because I think you saw in the first shot, I was like, kind of like this, but I was like, wait, I'm already there. Like it was kind of like an exaggerated, because that's what I had from the first pistol that I shot. So pretty crazy. Next videos, we got some really cool stuff showing some night vision mounts from Nocturn, and I got some new placards we're gonna show you. Lots of cool stuff and more helmet stuff coming. So if there's stuff you guys wanna see, always let me know in Discord, let me know down in the comments, I'll work it. I know people wanna see the Ferro carrier, I'm working on it. We got a very full schedule. All right, I gotta go. It's a wonderful day out, so I'm gonna go enjoy it. I'm gonna have some buffalo wings. It's buffalo wing day. All right, you guys have buffalo wings too. All right, later everybody.